Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to Vegetative Reproduction in Corms Crocus. Corms also have a short stem, but in this case, it is the stem itself which swells and stores food. So we are looking at the corms, and here we have our corm plant. It has the terminal bud, then there is the corm. It has got the lateral bud, and this one down is the remain of last year's corm, and then we have last year's leaf bases. So that's how our corm looks like. The circular leaves form a papery scale. The circular leaves, they form a papery scale. Now the circular leaves, they are these leaves that are outside here that surrounds the corm. And because they are old leaves, they are papery. So that's why we call them papery scales. The terminal buds grow into a flowering shoot, and the lateral buds produce new plants. We have the terminal buds. Terminal buds are these ones up on the tip. For them, they grow into a shoot. And then the lateral buds we have on the sides. These ones, they produce a new plant. Plants with corm store food in the stem, which is very short and swollen. So here we have our corm. Let us try to look at the different parts it has. Here it has the adventitious roots, and down here it has the contractile roots. Here, this is the new corm forming. The new corm is going to form here, and these ones are the circular sheath. Circular sheath. Here we have the old corm. This is the old corm, all of it. And this one is the lateral bud growing. Here we have the lateral bud growing. And here we have the scar left by last year's circular leaf base. That one is circular leaf base. So that's the corm, how it looks like. So it is this corm that stores food, and it is a stem itself. It is very short and it is swollen. When the foliage has dried off, the leaf base, where they encircle the short stem, form a protective scale covering. So when we have our leaves, these leaves that we have on top, if these leaves they dry off, So we shall remain with the leaf base. The leaf base, now these are the leaf base down here. These are the leaf base. Now this leaf base, where they circle, if you look at them, they are circling around the short stem. Where they circle the short stem, they produce what we call a protective scale covering. They produce a protective scale covering. That is when the foliage has dried off. You can see that these leaves are still there, but they are these ones which have dried off and they have fallen off. You can see that they are forming a protective covering on the short stem. That is what we are calling the protective scale covering. Since the corm is a stem, it has lateral buds which can grow into a new plant. So our corm here is a stem itself, and being that it is a stem, it has the lateral buds. Now this was a lateral bud. This lateral bud now has developed into a new plant. So you can see that the corm itself is a stem. The corm itself is a stem, and the corm has got lateral buds. Now these lateral buds, when they grow, they develop into a new plant. The stem remains below the ground all its life. Only the leaves and the flower stalk come above the ground. So the stem itself is going to remain underground. So the stem will remain underground, and it is only the leaves and flower stalk that will come out of the ground. The food stored in the corm edibles, the terminal bud to grow rapidly and produce leaves and flowers above the ground. So here, the food that we have stored in the corm, which is the stem, it is the one which is going to enable the terminal bud. This one is our terminal bud. So the food that has been kept inside the corm is the one that is going to be used by the terminal bud to grow into the leaves and the flowers above the ground level. So we can see that the corm down is going to provide food nutrients to the developing terminal bud, and the terminal bud will develop into the flower and also develop into the leaves, which are going to grow above the ground. So here we have the stored food becomes soluble and it passes to the growing parts. So this food which is here is going to become soluble and it will pass to the growing parts. The bud grows using the food stored in the corm. So we shall have here the bud growing but it is using the food that was stored in the corm. The food made by the leaves is sent back not to the old corm, but to the base of the stem immediately above it. So the food which is now made in the leaves. Now we have our leaves that have already grown. They got their nutrients from the old corm. Now they have grown, they have started manufacturing their own food. Leaves make food which passes to the new corm at the base of the stem. Now when this food is manufactured, it will go and it will be stored in the new corm. This is the new corm, which is above the old corm. The new food which is produced is not sent to the old corm. It is sent to the new corm at the base of the stem here. This is our new corm. And you can see that our food which is being produced up, it is coming down, and when it comes down, it is stored here. The leaves are producing the food, and they bring and they store it in this corm here. This is the new corm. This region swells and forms a new corm on top of the old, now she-leaved corm. So the food that we have sent down is going to cause this region to swell. It will start swelling on top of the old corm, on top of the old corm. So the old corm is down, but now the food is being stored in the new corm, and the new corm will start to swell above the old corm. The old corm will start to reduce in size. Why? Because it is supplying the nutrients to the developing buds. All these buds that are growing, the young ones, are taking nutrients from the old corm, and then the old corm is going to she-leave. It is going to reduce in size as the new corm is increasing in size. Why? The new corm is receiving food from manufactured in the leaves, and it is storing it, whereas the old corm, it is supplying food to the buds and the sprouting lateral buds, plus also the adventitious roots. Some of the lateral buds on the old corm have also grown, and they have produced new plants with corms. So you can see that here you have some other lateral buds, and these lateral buds, when they develop, they produce new plants, and these new plants are growing from the old corm, and now they have become new plants with their corm. You see here a corm which is trying to swell. Here we still have the lateral bud which is still developing, but it is getting its nutrients from the corm, and soon when it comes out and it grows and it starts manufacturing food, it will store the food in its corm here, which will swell, but not in the old corm. Thank you very much for participating in vegetative reproduction in Corms Crocus.